Hi there, I'm Michelle Pacansky-Brock. As students in formalized educational settings, we often become accustomed to the notion that history is something fixed and untouchable, that it's comprised of important events and people from the past that have been remembered and written about in our history books. When we become accustomed to thinking about history in that way, though, I think we lose a very precious and important layer of history, the role that we each play in it. And your own life stories, or those of your relatives or ancestors, are just as important. If we pause to explore and reflect on those stories, as well as share them with others, they can be a gateway to seeing the world in a new way, a path to self-empowerment, or an opportunity for others to learn. I have a story that I'd like to share about my own family that served as a defining moment for me and really changed the way that I view the world. It all started with viewing a simple family photograph when I was a young girl. This is a photograph of my maternal great-grandmother, Elise Leader, taken in the early 20th century from my best estimation. When I was a young girl of just 7 or 8, my mom shared this photograph with me. And I have many memories of pulling it out of a big tin box that was stuffed with old family photographs, most of relatives from Germany who I had never met, just like my great-grandmother. There was something incredibly magical to me about this old photograph. I can remember holding it close to my face many, many times and peering at the image on its surface, hoping it would reveal something to me about this woman, my great-grandmother. Yet it never did. I found myself admiring my great-grandmother poised so elegantly in the deteriorating image. The more I gazed at the photograph, the more she became an image of beauty to me. I examined every visual detail in that photograph. I compared her curly hair with my own straight hair. I wondered how tall she was. I remember being very fond of her Victorian attire. As I interpreted the silent, motionless image, I constructed her as an image, and I projected that idea onto my own identity. But at some point in my childhood, I learned more about my great-grandmother, Elise, that transformed the way I viewed this photograph, the world, and myself. What you're seeing here is another document from my family archive. It's a postcard that my great-grandmother, Elise, sent to my great-grandfather, Theodore, on August 16, 1915, shortly after he volunteered to fight for his country in World War I. Tragically, by the time the postcard was received, my great-grandfather had been killed. This postcard was returned to Elise, and the red writing on the right side of the postcard translates to "Killed in Action, August 25th, 1915. This postcard is merely a piece of paper with ink on it, but it transformed my understanding of who my great-grandmother was and what she represented to me. After the death of her husband, my great-grandmother was left alone to raise 5 young daughters in early 20th century war-torn Germany. One of those daughters was my grandmother, Ella. After learning about this story as a young girl, the meaning of this photograph completely transformed for me. I no longer looked at it in admiration of my great-grandmother's appearance. Rather than remembering her as a silent, passive image of beauty, she became a valiant, active icon of strength and courage to me. I still long to understand how she did it, as a widowed mother in a society that granted power to women through their legal relationships to men. And that's a question that I'm still unraveling. I have one final piece of this story to share with you, and it's a more recent piece. Recently, I scanned these images and I uploaded them into a web-based tool called Voicethread, which is what you're seeing on your screen here. This is a bubble of me speaking, asking some questions. It allows me to annotate on the screen too. This was free for me to create, and I did this in an effort to learn a little bit more about this document. I wanted to have it interpreted and get a little bit more information about what I knew, but I didn't know how to do that. So I created this voice thread and I shared the link to it on my Facebook page. And within 24 hours, I had a friend from high school who I haven't talked to in over 20 years, a family friend, and a relative in Germany who I've never met start to work together to translate the postcard and help me decipher more of the important details buried within the story. Today we are at an absolutely amazing juncture. With access to the internet coupled with social technologies that can connect us with a global audience in just a moment, we have an opportunity in front of us to learn more about our own stories and share them with the world, as well as archive the documents along with the stories for future generations in our own voices. History really is yours. So what's your story?